I haven't turned the hot tap in over a year now. Even when I was in Canada and it was minus 15 degrees outside, those were some interesting cold showers. Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 17 of Kirk Questions. That's right, I said 17. That means we're getting really close to 18 and 20. Thank you for tuning in, you big pack of legends. This is the show where you guys ask me questions and I answer them for you to the absolute best of my ability and hopefully provide you guys with plenty of value. Here I go, I'm gonna do it. Here I go, right now. Here it goes. It's gonna happen. Wish me luck.
The first question
Yes.
comes from Sandra Lows. I hope that's how you pronounce Sandra's last name.
Lows, lows.
Lows or Lows?
It'd be either or.
Either or.
Sandy, nonetheless.
Let us know in the comments below. And this question comes from Facebook. And Sandra asks, how do Canadian audiences differ from Australian audiences?
Cool question, considering I've just landed back home in Melbourne from cold. I was about to say sunny Canada, but it was sunny, but it was cold. How do audiences differ in Canada to Australia? I don't know. I guess I think there's a lot of similarities between the Australian and Canadian culture. Like I noticed whilst I was over there, kind of the same, same jokes generally go down well, and everyone was super enthusiastic. I guess I was playing, because I was opening for Matt over there, Matt Andersen. If you haven't checked out Matt Andersen, go do it. Do yourself a favor, as Molly would say. He's brilliant, amazing songwriter, amazing human being, one of my favorites on the planet. And I guess because I was opening shows with him and he's got this, he's obviously got this big following and we're doing big theatre shows and there's, 500 plus people at the shows. It's a bit more of a different environment to the shows I'm doing back home in Australia, which are quite intimate and, sometimes little bars or little clubs or little cafes and things like that. So much more of a listening environment and a listening crowd that are just there, to focus their attention on the stage and, not necessarily have a chat with their friends, at the bar and stuff like that. So I think in that respect, it was the response was really cool. Lots of enthusiasm, and it felt like the connection between me and the crowds was strong. So, but in terms of like the difference between Australian crowds, Canadian crowds, like I don't know, maybe there's a little less like playcation, maybe, but it could also just be that I was playing in theatres where people don't really yell out, play, I don't know, what would they yell out over there? Play Rockin' in the Free World, or play some Neil Young number, I guess. I guess that would be the only difference, but I wasn't playing little bars, so I can't really tell if that is the culture over in Canada as well as Australia. So I hope that answers your question. All in all, it was a freaking good time, and I'm super grateful for the experience and the opportunity. Matt, if you're out there watching right now, thank you so much, my friend. You are an absolute legend and I love you to death.
So this question actually kind of ties into your first question's answer.
Okay.
And it comes from @CC on Instagram.
I was going to say that's only going to be an Instagram name.
Definitely an Instagrammer.
CC Carlay.
CC Carlay.
So is there a chance that their name is just Carly? Or is it Carlay?
Or it's
Or it could be Carly, and they're just like,
could be
Carlay!
I mean, it could be Carly, and it's just 2 silent C's and 1 silent A.
Yeah. Lots of silent letters.
Who knows? Who knows in the world of Instagram?
I kind of like Carlay! Anyway.
It's got a ring to it.
Anyway.
They ask, how did you get chosen to tour with Matt Andersen?
Good question, Carly. How did I get chosen? Like, I don't think it was necessary. I don't know. I wasn't on the other end of the phone as such. But me and Matt, I did a number of shows. Well, me and Matt, we used to have the same agent in Australia, say 5 years ago, and so he kind of introduced us back in those days at a festival. I think we were doing Woodford Folk Festival in Queensland in Australia, and we met each other there backstage. And then I think a few months later we were both doing Blues Fest in Byron Bay, and we kind of got chatting a bit more there. And then I think Matt was coming back a year or two later and doing a tour across Australia, and I was super keen to jump on board those shows with him, and he was kind enough to have me. And so we travelled around across the country doing a bunch of shows, and I think, Matt was able to put up with me. And from there, we just kind of formed a bit of a friendship, and then I went over and did the East Coast Music Awards in Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island last year. 2 years ago, 2018. Or was it it was last year, 2019. And from that, so that's, I kind of showcased over there, which gave me the opportunity to kind of play in front of a bunch of industry people, and the showcases went really well. And from that, I signed an agency deal with an agency over there called Pack In, and signed with a man called Steve Butler. And Steve happens to be Matt's agent once again, so we kind of just found ourselves back in the same situation where we have the same agent, and it all kind of worked out from there. I kind of gave Matt a call, and Matt actually helped line up that signing as well. So Matt's just been an absolute gentleman in terms of support for me in my career, and it all just happened rather organically from that. There was word through the grapevine that Matt was going out to do these shows after the release of a new record. I think it's called Halfway Home by Morning, and it's brilliant. Go check it out. And yeah, and then one thing led to another. I was on the phone to Matt, telling him that I'd really love to come and do it. I've been trying to get into the Canadian and North American market for a number of years, and with not too much success. And a few weeks later, I got an email from my agent telling me that I'd got the tour, and then the rest is history, as they say. And it's been super fun. We've at this stage, I'm not sure I'm sure the tour will be done by the time this episode comes out, but at this stage we've done half the tour and kind of did Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia, and we've still got Ontario and Quebec to go. So I go back again later next month, and which will be March, and do those shows, and it should be fun. If they're anything like the first run of shows, I'm going to have the time of my life. It's been super, super cool.
Alrighty, next question.
Third question.
The third question comes from Comet Renee on Facebook.
Comet Renee. Okay.
Or maybe Comet?
I think it's Comet, man. You got to stop doubting yourself. Just trust in your abilities to read.
Names are hard.
Is like that? That's got to be another Instagram, yeah.
That's a Facebook.
That's a Facebook.
That's
Comet Renee. Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought there was an @ in front of that. Comet Renee. Okay.
Let's just hopefully I've done this one correctly. But they've asked. So we got to hear the amazing Flynn Gurry at Golden Blues Festival, and he talked about recording a song with you. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy meeting and recording with such an awesome young artist? I did, yeah. Flynn's a great young lad. He reminds me a bit of myself when I was kind of first starting out. Just got my license and just started, just taking absolutely any gig I could get, driving around the country and playing the Australian Blues Music Festival in Goulburn. And he's super keen, super enthusiastic. And in fact, I was probably a little bit older. I think Flynn's only 18 at the moment, but I think when I was about 23, I actually recorded a record, the Thank You for Giving Me the Blues record, with a friend of mine in a small kind of studio, home studio environment as well. So there's lots about Flynn that just reminds me of myself, and
I in some ways miss those days of just like the freedom of just, jumping in a van and just, going to any gig and playing and, not having to, sell tickets or anything like that, just kind of having fun with it and just rolling it and seeing what happens and, sleeping in shonky beds up the top of hotels each night or in the back of the van on the side of the road and all that kind of fun stuff that I used to do when I was younger. But it's been super fun. I mean, I've kind of been, treating this environment here, my little studio space, as somewhere for me to really work on my craft, not only as a songwriter, but try and build up some skills as a producer as well, because it's something I've always been interested in. I remember, like, even when I was very young, listening to records and going, I wonder what the record would have been like if they tried this here and there and there and there, And so I think I've always just been intrigued by the producing process. And I guess in recent years, I've been lucky enough to work with some great producers and really kind of watch them closely whilst we're recording my own stuff. I think last year or the year before, maybe late 2018, I decided to, just to jump in the deep end and start putting my name out there for people to come and record with. And so now, this little studio, which is called Jackson Creek Studios, is, not only my place of writing and demoing and recording my own stuff, but working with other artists and trying to help them capture the visions or the things that they're hearing in their head. And I'm really loving that. It's really fun being on the other side of the microphone. It's a totally different medium, I guess, creatively, and it's super, super fun. So if there's any artists out there that think that, us working together to do a record or record a song or anything, that are interested, like, get in touch. Like, I love hearing new artists and hearing their thoughts and visions and creative goals. So I'd love to chat to absolutely all of you. And yeah, I guess going back to Flynn, super excited about his stuff. He's already released one song that we did. I think it's called Winter. And I think there's a bunch of others on the way. We've got a few in the works. So I think Flynn's got a big future ahead of him. He's got a great knack for just writing really like kind of groovy, like groove orientated tunes, and I think that's super exciting. So I'm super excited to be a part of that little career that he's starting to build. It's super fun. I love working with younger artists. I feel like in a way as well, like it's kind of, I feel obliged to kind of give back, because there was artists that did that for me when I was starting out, Lloyd Spiegels and guys like that who kind of acted as mentors in some regard. And yeah, I'm super enjoying that process. I feel it feels fun to pass on the things that I've learned over the years to people who are just kind of getting themselves off the ground.
Question 4 comes from @ClarThePio.
Okay, there's another interesting one.
Instagram.
Clar the Pio.
Kind of makes a little bit more sense. And they ask, how do you have your coffee?
Classic. Well, if you had have asked me probably a year ago, I would have said flat white, just straight flat white, no sugar. But these days, things have changed a little bit. So I've made some, just subtle changes to my diet and lifestyle over the last couple of years. And those things have included, for instance, like meditation. I'm huge on meditation now. I kind of try and meditate at least once a day, preferably twice, in the morning and then in the evening. And that kind of helps with my mental strength. And then cold showers has been a huge one, taking them every morning. I haven't turned the hot tap in over a year now. Even when I was in Canada and it was minus 15 degrees outside, those were some interesting cold showers. And what else? I've just general fitness, going out for runs and stuff like that. And then the last one is diet. I've really worked on my diet, And I've decided to go vegetarian or pescatarian. I'm still kind of eating a bit of fish here and there, but I think, in the future I'll cut that out as well. And I'm really enjoying that. I think it was a number of years ago that I stopped eating red meat and then kind of cut down to just chicken and pork, and then I kind of cut pork after a little while, and then I cut chicken, and now I'm, like I said, down to just a very much a plant-based diet. And so that has obviously influenced my coffees. So now I'm kind of slowly weaning out milk as well. So now I'm down to not soy or almond milk or coconut milk I've been having in my coffees lately. So these days I'm either a flat white with almond milk or soy milk, or just coming home from Canada. And as we all know, like the North American kind of style is just to go black coffee from, it's kind of like, I guess what we'd call in Australia, like plunged coffee. So I was doing those while I was over there, and I was actually really enjoying it. It was really nice to just, to have a coffee straightforward. Just they thought it was quite hilarious when I was calling them long blacks. I think you just call them a coffee with no milk or something. I don't know. I still don't understand how it works over there. But so for me, it's either a soy flat white or a straight black coffee, to answer your question.
Last question, Arino.
All right.
Now, this is one that I don't think we've ever had before.
Right.
In terms of social media.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we've ever actually... Oh, maybe there was like once, but it's very infrequent. So I'm very excited about this.
Uh-huh.
So this next question, and the last question, comes from @JaneNielsen.
Right.
On YouTube.
YouTube!
On YouTube.
Got a YouTube question. Look out.
Don't see those very often.
I think we've like kind of ticked off the 4 main ones now. Like we've done we've had Instagram questions, we've had
Twitter.
Facebook questions, we've had Twitter, we've had YouTube. Maybe we need to get like a LinkedIn, and we need to get like we were just talking earlier about, I need to up my game on TikTok. So we've got some more places that we could get questions from for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. @JaneNielsen asks, if you could trade your talent for an equivalent talent in any other field, what would it be?
Huh. Interesting. If I could trade my talent, I put out a post a while back about my outlook on talent. Talent to me, I think a lot of people think that talent is something that you're kind of born with, or that you're given in some way. But for me, talent, I see talent as just another word for practice. It's just, I've put in lots and lots of hours practicing guitar and singing and performing and all that. And so now I'm talented. And so I guess going back to the question, I think about that, what would I trade that for, all those hours, and what would I put hours into outside of the music thing? And that's a really good question. I think when I was younger, I had big ambitions of going to the Olympics. I used to love school like athletics days. It was like, I was a very behavioral challenged, I guess we could call it, student. But when it came to athletics days, it was like I was there. I was like, no more. I never wagged an athletics day. I wagged plenty of days of schools, but never an athletics day. And so I think like that maybe would be one thing. Like I think something in terms of like, I really love health and fitness. So maybe in that regard, I think if I didn't break my ankle when I was 16, maybe I would have ended up down that path and chasing that little goal. Other than that, I used to love skateboarding when I was young. So maybe that, but I was never that great at skateboarding. I was a bit too much of a wuss. I was a bit too much of a scaredy cat. Maybe that would be different these days. My outlook on fear is much different to what it used to be. And I think the third one would possibly be golfing. Like, I love playing a game of golf. And there was a stage there, you know, when I was maybe early 20s and first starting to get into golf, that I was like obsessed, and I was going out 2-3 times a week to my local golf course, you know, spending $100 a week on golf, and just loving every moment of it. And I think, you know, I never got a handicap, but I was definitely doing all right. I was getting around the course okay. So maybe one of those three would be what I would trade in if I had to. Who knows? Who knows? I'd like, there's all kinds of things that I'd love to be, you know, super talented at, or put lots of hours of practice into, but we all have the same 24 hours in the day, and we've got to decide what we're going to do with it. And for me right now, it's all about like playing music and improving in that regard. And, you know, on the side, a little bit of gardening and a little bit of golfing, and, you know, a very small smidget of trying to be a chef, which just never works for me. And yeah, I think if anything, I would trade it in for it being either an Olympic athlete, a professional skateboarder, or maybe a golfer, or maybe like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a gardener once again, but that's a very recent thing. That's like since we moved into this house, I've become obsessed with gardening. Landscaper, maybe. A landscaper would be cool. Spend a bit of time in the sun every day. It would be beautiful. Plant some trees, plant some plants, grow some seeds, all that stuff. Who knows? Who knows? There's so many things I'd love to do. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with doing the music thing though. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Kirk Questions. Very fun one. Lots of talk about Canada, which has been really cool considering I'm fresh off the plane from Canada. And if you have a question that you haven't asked, and you know, it's sitting there in the back of your head and you're just like, I want to ask. Go for it. Go. Put it in the comments below. We love to hear your questions. We'll chuck them on the question board, and you'll more than likely see it answered in an upcoming episode. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, all those things. And we will see you soon. Peace.